Hello. So today I'm starting a series where I try to hit 16, maybe 1800 on chess.com over maybe a couple of months because I don't see a lot of low-level chess streamers or YouTubers, and I don't know, maybe it'll be insightful for a couple of people because it's not like masters are always going over why you shouldn't play this specific move because they already know it's like bad and they think it's common sense. Anyway, this was a bad intro, so let's just get into it. Playing 10-minute rapid. Um, See, masters don't go over stuff like this. I assumed that we would be opening with a normal London, so I play King's Indian Defense, and I don't know. I'm just gonna continue fiend gathering my bishop. Knight comes out here. Looks like he's trying to castle long. I'm expecting queen here at some point. Queen d2. Um, I'm tempted here to play d6 or castle because I want to play here, but I don't. Thank you, arrows. But I don't want this happening. I think I'm gonna start with d6. If he trades here, I don't like castling here immediately because a trade happens and then they go h4, h5. Sometimes it's annoying because I don't have the experience, I guess, to handle it. Um, by the way, I think most of you probably could have guessed from how I've been talking about this game that you probably don't want to take any advice from me, just entertainment. Yeah, h4, h5 coming. I think maybe I'm just going to play h5 here because this is stopped by bishop to c4. He plays that. She, I don't know, something. By the looks of it, they aren't going to castle at all. I think I can play e5 here, pry open the center, try to get a queen trade in. Um, Here I'm dropping my bishop back because I want the bishop pair. I'm going to be saying all my ideas out loud because it helps me think, and also I think it'd be more entertaining. I don't know. I'm not good at YouTube. Um, if I take here, they take back. I can bring my rook onto the same file as their king. Maybe get d5 in and pin this bishop. Or if this bishop ever moves, I'll have that knight pinned. So I'm going to play this. Okay. I'm a little bit wary of knight g5, but I think it's just awkward there. Because it's going to be very difficult to make anything of that, I think. My opponent will probably prove me wrong on that, but who knows. Um, I have options here. I can play here, just continue developing. This knight looks like it's never moving. I think I'm going to play bishop here. Actually, that invites this, doesn't it? Yeah, I think it does. They don't play it. Hold on. I'm gonna calculate the line anyways, for learning purposes. So if they played here, that's how arrows work. Take, take. Oh, and I can take back because this is pinned to the king. I said a couple moves ago that I was doing it specifically for that too. Um, they're definitely castling here. This doesn't stop castling. I wonder if I can get... Then I would weaken my dark squares. I was thinking that maybe I could pin this knight to the queen and then trade it off so that this pawn could never march down. But then, even though they don't have a dark square bishop, I'd imagine the queen would come here eventually. And this pawn could cause problems either way. I think I'm just going to play the natural developing move. But now I'm thinking that I do want to pin this knight because it's on the same file as the queen and the king, so that knight can never move as long as I don't take. And also if the queen tries shuffling out of the way, it can't, and it'll just pin this bishop again. I'm not worried about any weird things because I know it doesn't have any checks, and if it attacks my queen, I'll just take with check and then move my queen wherever. I just realized that this whole time I've been ignoring the fact that I should be expanding queenside. Is it too late? Simple move is to double up and try to... Actually, no, that's defended by the knight. Huh. Remember when I said this knight was never moving? Still doing something on these two squares, unfortunately. I think this knight on the outpost is too strong, now that I think about it. Because this square is going to be very, very weak. And if it sacrifices here and some crazy stuff happens over here, then I'd just be dead. And I don't see a way in for my opponent. I'm gonna play rook e4 to put pressure on this pawn and try to tie up this queen to defending it. I don't think there's anything from a sacrifice like this now. Especially because these pawns are in the way of the queen. This looks like a nice square for my knight to land soon. I didn't consider this move. Can I just let them take? Take, take. My bishop's on an outpost. And these rooks are going nowhere afterward. And because this bishop is gone, I get this square for my knight. So I'm going to play knight here. this is probably a horrible idea because I probably don't have the skill to make any use of the fact that these rooks are doing nothing. They're gonna open up eventually, but who knows? Opponent seems to be interested in why I'm playing knight a5. If we get something like this, I'm happy to trade the bishop for the knight. Or the knight for the bishop. I'm still expecting this bishop to take the rook, though. I'll even pre-move it. Yeah, I'll pre-move it. I don't know what else would happen, so... Actually, would it be better to get the passed pawn? I think it would be better to have the passed pawn. Because I can bring my queen to this square now. I can threaten this pawn. Make something of that. They don't take. I'm going to bring my queen up, attack this pawn. Because here, I just take with the pawn. Yeah, that makes sense. And then I think I just want to double my rooks. If this, then I just take. Yeah. That seems sound enough. Where is this knight going? Absolutely nowhere, I think. But I can still pin it to this rook. Oh. Actually, that's probably what their idea was. Is it a problem? I take and I'm defending that square, so you have to defend this knight in some way. And they take the rook. Okay. I think that's a mistake. Because now I'm attacking this pawn, this knight, which is pinned to the rook. This bishop, I think, is kind of useless on this square. This knight is very strong. I can't dislodge it with f6. So I think I should give up on this outpost, especially because it's defended by that knight now, and try to get that knight traded off as soon as possible. I'm definitely losing this pawn. Expecting takes, because obviously. And I'm going to play here, sneakily attack this pawn. And after a move like this, I can come here and attack this pawn. And then after he defends it, I have no idea. I think they're more likely to defend it like this, keep pressure on this pawn. I'm down to a minute 44, which probably isn't ideal. But I'm thinking maybe, I'm thinking maybe I can get a rook lift over to here. or over here. I could either have it in line with the king with a pawn that's easily defended by this rank, or this one that can easily be defended by bringing this up here. I don't think that's very valuable. That is not one of the ways I considered they would defend the pawn. Does it change anything? I don't think so, really. I think I can play for a draw if I go here. I'm assuming they'll take with the queen. I can trade. And then the fact that they have doubled pawns will make up for the fact that I'm down a pawn. And then I can get my shenanigans over here with the rook lifts. So I'm going to play queen f5. If they take with the rook, I don't have time to calculate this. But they take with the queen. We're fine. I'm going to play this. I probably should have gone here. That was a bad idea. And now we play like it's bullet. I can go here because that's... yeah. Oh! They hung their rook! I'm so bad at this game. Here, I'm assuming. Take. Here. And then I go here. And then eventually they're gonna pick up the pawn and win, or they're gonna get their queen in front of my pawn. I don't know why I'm even calculating this. They're up a queen. Yeah, I think this position is just resigning. Alright, we're on to game number 2. And, I play the London system. And I get people who play this. I don't actually know any theory for the London system. I just kind of make it up on the fly. I believe against c5 best according to the engine when I was practicing is just play e3 and take. I'm playing c3 because I want to get this bishop here. When they play that, I'm going to drop back. I'm expecting this sometime soon. Just based off how people normally play this against me. And I don't actually know the best way to defend it. I would just play queen d2. Or queen to c2, not d2. I think this is a mistake. They're blocking in their bishop even more than it already was. And I don't think this knight is doing much on either of these squares. If they really wanted to trade off the bishop, they should have just played that. Even then, I would get the open file. So... or maybe this is opening prep that I don't know about. I'm going to break on b3 because I don't want to have them having so much space on the queen side. If I take here, they can't play rook here, so they're going to have to play here, here. And neither of those moves look very good for them. And then after rook b1, I castle. Or maybe they hang their rook and I take it. That's also a move. I castle. This square... Oh, I think I see the point of knights to g6 now. Because this square is going to be hard for me to stop a pawn push into. I think. Something like that. I think I want to play e5 in this position, so I'm going to play rook e1. e4, not e5. Thinking back on it, that could be a mistake because I'm opening up this bishop in a way that bishops move. I think it's adequately defended over here to not have e5 be losing. But I definitely think I lost a little bit of advantage if I had any. This is a move. I'm going to lock the center, and if this knight ever moves somewhere, and this bishop also moves somewhere, I'm looking out for Greek gifts. It looks like they're interested in a rook trade. I'm not unless I'm keeping the open file. And I'm not going to take because I want to keep the open file. H3 is just because I want to have an escape square. Yeah. Looks like they're going to double up. I can take. This knight isn't getting off the side of the board anyway because these squares are just dead. And after, if queen takes, then I can just kick it out and keep the open file. If bishop takes, that bishop's dead anyways. It's behind all of these stuck back here, pretty much. And I think I'm just going to take the open file again, stop counterplay on this side, and then start expanding king side. I'm looking for f4. I'm going to play this. I'm welcoming any pawn pushes over here because it's going to weaken the king. That's a move. Looks like they're interested in training the rooks again. If a rook comes over here, then I think I'm just going to drop my rook back to f1. Or should I trade? If I trade, then this queen is gonna try to make its way into my back rank. If not, this rook is going to get there first. I think I want to put a knight over here, if I can. How can I get a knight over there? You can get there from these two squares, but neither of these squares are available. I don't think it's going to be possible for me to get a knight there. I think I'm just going to play f4. And then maybe trade. This is a very closed position. I think the bishops are bad. I want to keep their knights off the board. Especially this knight. This knight is horrible. This one's at least looking at this pawn. Ah. Check, take, check. Goes off somewhere. I can take. Oh, wait. If I go here, then they can just go back. Okay, so we trade first. And then I play this. I fixed it. I fixed the plan. Was it a good plan? Probably not, but... And they don't take it anyways. Okay. They're scared of me. I can play here, threaten mate. They still... Okay, yeah. And... Gonna drop my knight back, attacking this pawn, and I still want to trade here. After this, take, take, take. Okay, they drop back. And... If I trade here, my queen is trapped. So I can't actually do that. Because if I trade here, then this bishop blocks these two squares. This pawn blocks this one. And the pawns that are here would block these squares. One of them being the one my queen's on. And the king blocks off this square. So we will just bring more pieces. I'm unsure of how to feel if they want to break it on f6. I think I just ignore in that case. Yeah, they're getting to my back rank. Can I... What happens if I play king h2 and then something like this? I lose immediately? or it works and it's really funny. Alternatively, we don't throw the game and we play like bishop c2 and then queen b2, knight e3 takes, I wish I could trade over here. Yeah, I'll just defend. Could I have defended that better? Because now they have this. Yeah. I think the only move is this. Takes. Takes. And then what? It's not like I can really defend this pawn. Except for this. And then this bishop is still, like, gone. I'm gonna play king h2. Get out of the way of this line. And then just start throwing my pieces at their king. In hopes that something will stick. I probably could have just played knight f3, huh? Oh, but actually, I get a tempo if they take first. Yeah. That's why. Oh, they don't take anyways. Okay. I am hitting the queen. That was the tempo anyway. What do I do about this bishop? Do I just sacrifice it? You know what we're going for? We're sacrificing that bishop. If they take here, I can actually take here. Okay. Yeah. And then knight up. And then what are you doing? Hopefully getting checkmated. Yeah. I can't play here because of the bishop on b1. Bishop, queen. If this, I just take a4. I'm low on time. This. Okay. Yeah. I don't have time to think about it. We're just going to play fast and also block that pawn from advancing. As best as we can, which is not very well. Yep, makes sense. Go. H-pawn. Do something. Become a queen. Yeah, this position isn't happening. And this is game number 3. We're facing someone back in the 1300s. G6. We get a King's Indian again. Byron variation. Burn, Byron, one of them. I think castling is fine. I know I said earlier that I don't do that in this position, but it feels right now. I don't know. Because it didn't look like they were going to castle queenside, is my justification. I can push e5. I do actually know some theory for this one. Every time I see d5, I want to play a4, go knight b7, knight d7, knight c4, knight c5. A4 is to block this pawn. I learned it from some YouTube master. And then I'm going to move my bishop back here. Push pawn, attack the center. I don't know what that knight is doing on that square. If takes, then I take with a pawn. And if doesn't take, I push. And now I just want to optimize my pieces for a huge kingside attack. So I'm gonna play g5. Provoke something like that. And I'm gonna play king h8. I want my rook on this file. Bishop on f8. Yep. Bishop on f8, preparing for this push at some point. And I think I want my... Oh, they're breaking themselves. I'm gonna bring my queen to the H file, where the king is, and tear open the position in some way. Queen on the H file. There's a chance I end up rerouting my knight for a sacrifice on this square. Or I could play Queen G7, H5. I like that idea best. Queen G7, or I could do H6, Queen here first. I want to take with this pawn, stop them from pushing b4 at any point. I think this only accelerates my plan because now the bishop is not defending the square. I'm gonna play here. Probably even bring my rook over to the h-file again. If they're gonna run their king away, I'm going to at least try to win some material. I don't think I'm going to win any material in this attack either. But control of a big file. If they take here, yeah, I think that was best. Pin the rook. Why? I don't know. He's just gonna run over here anyways, probably. Sneak my way into the position. Hello, knight. It would be sweet if I had a bishop on this square, because I could take. But I don't think it's possible for me to get a bishop there right now, because of this pawn. And I can't push it to sacrifice it. I think rook g2 is on its way soon, because everything here is somehow defended. How is there nothing in this position? Bishop d7. That's a do-nothing move in my opinion, because this is still not good for them. Let's see if I can get my rooks both onto this file and make this knight even more uncomfortable defending this in some way. Yeah, I expected that, but they don't have a dark square bishop. If they try to trade their queens, then everything in this position is just paralyzed for them. Like, look at these pieces compared to this knight. This bishop behind everything of its own color versus all of my pawns are on dark squares. This bishop's useless, but this one is having a pretty nice time moving around. If I need to like sacrifice it here, or if I want to do this pawn push. But my opponent is playing very solidly. I considered this for a second, but I'd leave a backwards pawn here. That's really weak. This is a very drawish position. It seems my opponent thinks so too. But I think we're playing for a win here. Um, yeah, this dark square bishop is just dead. Shame all of their pawns are on light squares, actually. It'd be cool if I could sacrifice this for something. They really want that draw. Um, let's drop our rook back to h7 and try to bring our queen not in front of that pawn. Bring our queen somewhere over here. And try to get the rooks up ahead. I know if I can find a good break somewhere. I don't want to bring this rook to h8 actually, because that would hang this pawn, now that I think about it. They're remobilizing their pieces. This bishop is still going to be dead in this position no matter what. And they've allowed f3 if I ever want to play that. So I'm going to line up my queen there, just in case. But I'm expecting them to put a rook in front of it. A4 is very committing, because now they don't have any idea of this in some fashion to try to break down my pawn chain over here. And they've created backward pawn for themselves over here. Shame is that their bishop is defending it, so I can't attack it with a minor piece. This pawn's backwards pawn and it's hanging, so I'm going to attack it. And I think this rook would do better with the consideration of the b8 square. Funny how I think this rook just went here, here, here. Perhaps we can put a rook right here and then bring this one over. To this file. Oh, I just saw a really nice tactic. I could sacrifice here at some point, deflect this knight, and fork these two rooks. The queen is in the way, however. They're no longer attacking this pawn, so I can play b8 with this rook. And play this. Now they're never pushing that pawn. It's now I'm threatening this pawn because this is actually no. That's defended by this rook. This is half a waiting move, half lining up my queen with the king again. Let's put the rook on this square. if knight here, then if the knight comes here, I can not play this. That might be good for me. Let's bring my king over to f8 and see if I can get it to the more closed queen side. Oh. They cut out the rooks. Aha, I win a pawn. Will this one get defended, though? Can I defend that pawn? I don't think so. Okay, I think now it's a matter of fighting for this pawn. I might be dropping my rook back to this square so that there's no ideas of rook here. This game doesn't seem so drawish now. Yeah, let's drop our rook back to b7. I have a feeling we were very much winning back here, but I just didn't see it. I still don't want to move that pawn. Unless I could get queen here, and then this. Yes, I have a backwards pawn, but that's defended by my bishop. And I'm threatening this pawn on e4. Let's play this. This rook is kind of doing nothing on this back rank, I think. Because it can go to literally 0 of these squares without getting taken. Let's just make a waiting move. Okay, yeah, they're trading. Bishop back. King over. Thank you for getting rid of my double pawns for me. Keeping an eye on both of these pawns with the queen. We're both low on time. It's funny, because nobody's actually going to get checkmate in this position, probably. Or I'm wrong and I'm getting mated into. Let's just take. Now I have 2 passed pawns. Thinking of getting tempos on that queen. Probably going to pin this knight. Because I'd like you to tell me how this queen's going to defend that knight. And we went on time. Our rating went up. And I think that's a good place to end it. So, and it seems that the engine thinks we have an advantage to slightly draw, despite having sacked the bishop. So, I'd call that good practice. um, Hope you guys enjoyed my talking to myself for like an hour, and I'm probably not making an episode 2, but if I do, then uh, hopefully we'll get to 1600/1800. I still haven't decided yet one day.